Hi friends, Mario Cavallo here. This is the book that started it all 5 years ago, 2014. China, the truth of trillions in a culture of cash. Cash, 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 cash. In this video, our title for this video is Let's Meet China's Middle Class Millionaires. What? This doesn't make any sense at all. What do you mean, Mario? If they're middle class, they're not millionaires. Yeah, they are in China. So I want to tell you a story and to illustrate where we're going to go with this, because again, it's just Chinese people have a lot more cash. Chinese family households have a lot more cash than you have any idea. And this is antithesis of middle class America, where they have no cash and $10,000 of debt. And it's unfortunate the direction that things have gone in America. You know, the rich have just gotten themselves filthy rich, while the middle class has continued for 20 years with flat wages. The last 2-3 years, wages have finally started going up. Great, but they're still way behind, and it's really unfortunate. But during the same period of time, China's middle class has risen up to now 700 million people, and they're also very, very wealthy. What percentage of them? The top 20%. The rules apply. The rules apply like they always apply. Okay, we're talking the 80-20 rule. So we've got the middle class group of 700 million people, which is approximately 200,000 households, family middle class households. Obviously and definitely, the top 20% of those households would be what we call the upper middle class, right? Duh. And then 60%, a lot of them, the majority, are just getting their bills paid. They're comfortable and they're getting their bills paid. Okay? These are the families who are making, mom and dad are both making $1,000 a month each, but they have a lot lower expenses than they have in America, so $1,000 a month each is actually pretty good. They're really quite comfortable. They're easily able to rent an apartment for $250 a month. Their life isn't fancy. They have their life. They go to work. The kids goes to school. The parents are nearby to take care of the family. Life is simple, boring. At night, you go home, you eat a nice basic little meal, and you go to bed and you do it again the next day. Okay, it's not spectacular. It ain't sexy. Okay, and then the bottom 20% of the middle class, of course, is the lower middle class, and they're really struggling like every society. And man, they're struggling. They can barely make enough money, and they're trying to get a better job, and their life is tough. You know. Okay. So this is the categories, folks. The top 20% of this group that I'm referring to. I'm going right back to this book, going back to all the research I did, right back, and then I'm going to tell you an amazing story. All the research made it very, very clear. So what's 20% of 700? Well, now 700 million people, 140 million people. 140 million people. What's 20% of 200 million households? 40 million. So I'm referring here now to 40 million households and about 140 million people, 3.5 people per household. That's my focus. That's China's upper middle class. Do you realize how large that is? Okay. Now, these people are millionaires. I need you to understand that. They're millionaires. Okay. One real estate fellow that I know, and this was going back 3, 4, 5 years, he said to me, basically, everybody needs to understand that basically the entire city of Shanghai, almost everybody is a millionaire on paper in real estate. But I'm not talking about just paper and real estate. I'm talking about cash, the truth of trillions in a culture of cash. Just read from the back of the book, okay? It's not just the wealthy who are quietly swimming in cash in China. This book presents a game-changing view unlike any previously published in China. It remains the only book on China's cash economy, highlighting and building on the astounding premise, which is untouched by the media and upon which we find a game changer for governments, institutions, and people touched by China. China's entire society is quietly fueled by off-the-books cash. Shadow cash economy totaling US $6 to $10 trillion, like 50% of GDP. Now, in America, you say to me, oh, what's he talking about? Did you know that in America, 15% of the economy is cash? 15%. Edwin Feige, the professor at University of Wisconsin, he's the world's expert on shadow economies and cash economies. Okay, go look him up, Google him. He's in the book. Edgar Feige, professor. Okay. Even America has like $2 trillion in cash economy. Of course, in America, the rules are a lot tighter. It's a lot more difficult to do business off the books cash. A closer look in China exposes that much of this cash is in fact quietly hidden in the hands of the lower and middle income classes, not just the rich. And there's the rub, and there's the difference. Okay? I just said this. By contrast, the estimate of unknown off-the-books cash in the United States is around $2 trillion, about 15%. Okay? China's rising middle classes are far better off financially than most anyone across the world has grasped. How else do we reconcile, check this out, how do we reconcile that 80% of Chinese, and now, and this is written 5 years ago, we're now down to 50%, 80% of Chinese, now down to 50% of Chinese, still pay cash for their new cars. And that's 2.2 million new cars a month being cranked out. Wow. Well, if they're only making, according to the UN, the annual per capita in average in China is only like $7,000 a year. Really? Well, how are so many people, 1.1 million cars per month being purchased in cash? In cash. And I'm talking middle class cars, not luxury cars. Okay? Only 1.3 million luxury cars, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, what's the other one? Are being sold in China every year. Okay? That's all. Okay? In China, middle class, I'm talking middle class cars, 2.2 million per month. Average cars, 20,000. Cars that are $12,000 to $30,000. Okay? That's middle class cars. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So with the rising urban middle class population of 300 to 500 million, again, now 700 million, could it be possible that China's average per capita income is only $3,600 a year, according to the United Nations, as reported? Of course not. Okay? Of course not. Now, a couple of points I want to make out and tell you a story. In America, when you go to places like Walmart and other big businesses like Kmart, you go retail shopping, do you find a safe section? I don't mean a safe space for snowflake liberals. I mean a safes, like safes with doors and locks. Okay? Do they sell safes? Well, just a few for people with their jewelry. In China, it's big business. What do you mean it's big business? I mean, like, I have a friend who said to me, and I won't reveal details, this person, just like the average thinking person, she's just a good person, works hard, got a good job, etc., etc., etc. And then she says to me, all her money's home in a safe. Okay? Like 500,000 RMB, which is like $100,000. Oh, well, what's it doing home in the safe? Well, it's my money. It belongs, that's where it goes, right there in the safe. Okay? And that's on top of the house that she owns, which is worth $350,000, and she has no mortgage. I know another person who said to me, I might invest in your business. Well, I've got, $300,000, which is 2 million RMB, but it's in my safe back in my home in my other province. I would have to go there, get the money, and meet you cash. And we go to the bank. We have to deposit the money into your company's account. Did these kind of conversations take place amongst middle-class people in America? No. You see what I mean? So now I want to tell you the story. 5 years ago, and this just drives the point home. 5 years ago or so, I was doing some executive coaching for a client. Now, this client happened to be the CEO of a very large multinational European insurance company. Okay? He also happened to be a fellow from Taiwan, and we were having dinner. And I said to him, Who Run Report, they're an interesting group of people. You should follow them. Lots of people do. But said that China finally reached the statistic of rich people where there's now in China, we've reached that there's 1 million people who have at least $1 million in cash. We've achieved that. I immediately said to myself, what kind of a ridiculous conservative number is this? It's a lot more than that. I wrote the book, right? It's a lot more than that. Yeah. So I started asking around. I started asking all my expat buddy friends, about a dozen people who've also been here for at least 10 years. And I said to them, come on. We understand how much cash Chinese people have, and the upper middle class is like 140 million, 200 million people. They got a lot of cash, and nobody knows they have it. Okay. Yeah, true. So how many people do we think have 6.6 million, what is now today 6.6 million RMB in the safe or in their mattress or in the bank. Cash, available cash, not assets, not stocks, not gupiao, not real estate. Cash. 1 million. And I asked this question to my friend, my client, the CEO. So this man makes a lot of money, very intelligent, experienced, 15 years, 20 years, senior executive in the insurance industry, knows China like the back of his hand, right? He said 1 million. There's 1 million in Shanghai alone. There's 1 million people with $1 million in cash in their safes or in their banks. There's 1 million in Shanghai alone. And Shanghai, you got the equivalent of Shanghai is Beijing and Guangzhou and Shenzhen. Okay, so there's 4. And then you have, and this doesn't include what is known in China to be the richest province in China. Anyone? Zhejiang province. And the major cities there where people are known to have, there's people with a lot of wealth. Okay, the most famous one being Wenzhou, the wealth of Wenzhou people. These people have so much money, cash, and nobody, and you don't know, they're just like average normal people. You look at their house, you look where they live in. They live in an apartment complex, and you go, oh, everybody here is normal, and everybody here is a freaking millionaire, okay, in the whole city, right? And then Hangzhou as well, a very wealthy city, and then even Ningbo. Okay, so this is just the city. This is just the province of Zhejiang, which is known to be wealthier. So I've just named 7 cities. And so how many actual families have $1 million in cash besides their homes and their apartments in China? It sure as heck isn't Who Run Reports 1 million. And if I had to give you an estimate, and that's probably why a lot of people refuse to pay attention to my book, because it can't be quantified, but by deduction, by reasonable, sensible deduction, and talking to other intelligent human beings and asking them, and when the CEO of a major company ponders and says, hey, are you kidding me? There's at least 1 million people with $1 million in the bank just in the city of Shanghai alone. Yeah, easily. Like, easily. Of course there are. That kind of an answer. And when that's consistently the answer, well, you can bank on it, right? But you can't prove it. It's not quantifiable. And you can't go to Bank of China and ask them. They're not going to tell you. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we mean when we talk about meeting China's middle-class millionaires. That's it for this video. Have a great day. I'm glad you understand China a little bit better now than you did just a few minutes ago. Thanks for joining me. The Dragon Roars on, and more videos coming up. Have a great day. Hey friends, just a quick word here to encourage you to share, comment, and subscribe. And I got to tell you what's coming in the next 10 days. 3 new videos today. I got a list because I'm home for the next 10 days. I'm going to be crank. I took so much video footage over the last couple of weeks, put together some ideas. I want you to know what's coming. I'm going to submit a new article to the China Daily on the split U.S.-China global economy with a really powerful perspective. I'm going to do a video about what's happening in China green. You think China is a big polluter? Yeah, well, they are, but they are more committed to green than you have any idea. Far more than any other country, including the United States. So amazing information I'll share with you in that one. We are moving it on to audio. We're going to, number 1, launch the Dragon Quartz Audiophile Awards. I think it's going to go global. We're going to launch it in Beijing in a couple of weeks. We're going to have our first event. I went to the JBL Harman flagship store in Shanghai. This is the flagship store for China. Unbelievable. And met with the local manager, salesman there. He's been there for 7 years. Super nice guy. Going to do some more vintage vinyl reviews, of course. I want to ask you a question. Where is the best built Buick on the planet? Well, it was made in China in 2010. Why would I say that? A couple of very good reasons. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Church in China is wonderful. Yeah, sure, Mario. We're not hearing that story. Yeah, I know you're not. That's why you need to hear that story. Yeah, everything's okay. Relax, okay? I'm gonna finally get the Guangzhou audio and tube gear market. The tube amplifier market in China is enormous. The best everything comes out of China, and tube amplifiers are no exception. We're gonna meet the Chengdu potato lady. We're gonna talk about these little cool, these tiny little closed electric cars up here in Shenyang for local use. They're like little golf carts, except they don't look like golf carts. And they're not regular cars like all these new electric cars that are coming out. They're these cool little electric cars. And they're here in Shenyang. I don't see them anywhere else. I got some videos and pictures. Unbelievable. And listen to this. The Shenzhen Belt and Road International Music Festival. Whoa, what's that? It sounds like a bunch of political PR, right? I mean, Belt and Road is the Economic Initiative International Music Festival. Yeah, hello. Branton Marsalis and the Lincoln Center Orchestra are going to be there, along with lots of other international artists. And then the last story, and I got a lot of pictures and stories about that. And then the last one, my friend said to me, I was visiting with my friend in Chengdu, and he said to me, Mario, he says, Xi Jinping saved my life. Xi Jinping's crackdown on corruption saved my life. I said, whoa, that's a story to hear. He was serious, and he told me a great story. It's all coming. Great. Thanks for being with me, Mario Cavallo. The Dragon Roars On.